The World Cup started in 1930, and since then, 11 genuinely insane things happened that are all real and documented, and nobody warned you about any of them, and each one is crazier than the last. So let us begin. Fact 1. The 1950 World Cup final had 173,000 fans in one stadium, while today's biggest stadium holds around 90,000, so it was almost double. And Uruguay won that final, and Brazil still talk about losing it 76 years later, and that record was never broken. Fact 2. Jose Batista got a red card after just 56 seconds in Uruguay vs. Scotland 1986, which was the fastest red card in World Cup history. And the game had barely started, and his team played 89 minutes with 10 men, and the match still ended 0-0, and Uruguay still advanced from the group. Fact 3. India qualified for the 1950 World Cup, then withdrew, and the legend says FIFA banned them from playing barefoot, but the reality is they thought the Olympics were more important, and the trip to Brazil was too long and too expensive. And India have never qualified again, so that was their only chance. Fact 4. The 1994 World Cup final between Brazil and Italy ended 0-0 after 120 minutes, which makes it the only World Cup final in history to end without a goal. And it went to penalties, and Roberto Baggio missed the last one, and Italy lost. And that image is still everywhere today. Fact 5. Hours before the 1998 World Cup final, Brazil vs. France, their best player, Ronaldo, collapsed with a seizure and was taken to hospital, then put back in the starting lineup hours later to play in front of 1 billion people. And France won 3-0. And nobody fully understands what happened that day, even now. Fact 6. In 1966, someone stole the World Cup trophy from an exhibition in London, and the police searched for a week and found nothing, until a dog named Pickles found it under a hedge wrapped in newspaper. And England won the World Cup that year, and the dog got fan mail, and some people believe Pickles was the reason they won. Fact 7. In the 2006 World Cup final, Zidane scores a Panenka off the crossbar. Then, with 10 minutes left in extra time, he headbutts Materazzi in the chest right before potentially lifting the World Cup, and gets a red card in the last act of his professional career. And France lost on penalties, but he still won Player of the Tournament. Fact 8. A goalkeeper hid a blade inside his glove during a World Cup qualifier, and planned this before the match. And when a flare landed on the pitch, he fell down and cut himself to make it look like the fan's flare hit him, so Brazil would get disqualified. But a photographer caught everything, and he was banned from football for life. And Chile was banned from the 1990 World Cup. Fact 9. In 1994, Colombia captain Andrés Escobar scored an own goal against the USA by accident, off a deflection, and Colombia went home. And 10 days later, he was shot and killed outside a bar in Medellin at just 27 years old. And football lost something that day that it has never fully recovered from. Fact 10. At the first ever World Cup in 1930, a player went down injured, and the team doctor ran onto the pitch with his medical bag and dropped it, and a bottle of chloroform inside broke, and the fumes knocked the doctor unconscious. So he came to treat an injured player and knocked himself out instead. Fact 11. The 1982 match, called the Disgrace of Gijón between West Germany and Austria, saw both teams realize that a 1-0 win would send both through and Algeria home. So after Germany scored at 10 minutes, both teams stopped playing football for 80 minutes and just passed the ball around with no shots, and the fans booed and threw things and chanted for Algeria. But the result stood, and FIFA was furious. So from the next World Cup onwards, all final group matches play at the same time, so no team can know what result they need, and no team can stop playing anymore. 11 facts, all real, and one of them changed the sport forever. And whatever happens next will be added to this list. So subscribe for part 2, because the game has not changed. You have, and you're welcome.